I'm your host, Katie Burrell, and this is The Arc of It, brought to you by Arc'teryx Academy. Our guest today is Martin Kern, whose ultra running career literally blows my mind. Martin pulled the classic leap, leaving his office job as an engineer to pursue his passion of running, a truly inspiring story. We talk pain management, nutrition, and the mentality that being an elite runner requires. But we also lean into the other side of such an all-consuming lifestyle, balance and recovery, which Martin stresses is just as important as going fast. Here's Martin. So where are you right now, Martin? You're in Grenoble?
Yeah, I came back from the mountains where I live, Valouise to Grenoble, where my girlfriend lives, where she lives, to be able to have a better connection. But yeah, the computer was not that right.
It's all good. We got you. Okay, so tell me about how I love this transition story of you being an office guy to running full time or trail running full time, ultra running full time. Um, how did that happen? How did it all start? Tell us this story of this, major decision.
Yeah, there's been major decisions in the past because I started studying engineering when I was a bit younger, like when I was 18. I was full on the outdoors, running a lot, biking, and mountaineering, skiing during the winter. And I was good at school. So just after discussing with my parents, what do you like and what's your passions for? I was like the outdoors, and they said, but what do you want to do for a living? And I was like, oh, I'm not sure. So why not just study engineering, and so you will have like balance in your life and your earning, and you will have time for your patients and the outdoors. And I was like, okay, so let's go studying engineering. And I did 3 years of intensive studying to prepare the engineering school. This is how it works in France. It's
Okay.
called classe préparatoire. And after 3 years in Paris, in China, in London, I came back to France for my first job, and it was close to the Pyrenees. And the Pyrenees in the southwest of France are like a really remote area in the mountains. And I started moving again there, being during the week at work. I was just dreaming about being in the mountains. And more, I just like spend more time in the mountains. Fell in love with ultra trail running, so which is like long distance running in the mountains. And I really wanted to explore more about the world, so I left France to go to New Zealand, and there I just discovered the big wide place, and again spent more time in the outdoors. And now it's just like after lots of hours spent outside, I got quite a good fit. I'm pretty fit now, so I could access big running competitions. And discussing with Arc'teryx, they proposed a contract, so I became an athlete runner, and that's my day-to-day life now. Just spend my time in
Wow.
the mountains.
So you were working full time in an office and running on the weekends or in the evenings, or how did that work? And then what was the tipping point, I guess?
Yeah, it was hard. It's like a full life. It's I don't know how to express it now. My English is not that great, but it was full on. Yeah, in the morning I woke up early, did some gym exercises, get to work during lunch break. Instead of going with the colleagues, I was going training for 2 hours, going
Wow.
back to work, and afterwards, yeah, or after maybe 6 to 9, I was just training again. So yeah, and lunch, and then just go to bed and start again. And the weekends, like again, 8 hours a day in the mountains. So yeah, a very hard life, but yeah, it just allowed me to to keep that balance at that time. So it was interesting as well.
And then you started entering races, or were you racing throughout that time, or how did you office guy that runs to professional runner?
Yeah, I was spending a lot of time so in the mountains at start. So I was racing only during my weekends and holidays. So always the companies I worked for were quite okay with it. So I could take some days off just to travel and recover. Um, but yeah, mostly the weekends. Rather now, I just have it's much better because I have less pressure from work and I can really plan to schedule the race.
Cool. And you entered I said say 6000D, but I'm sure it's a French,
Yeah,
like Sizzy. How do you say 6000?
simil
Similde.
yeah,
And you won it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was
exactly.
after you had left New Zealand, or that was
Yes.
come back to
So
France and
yeah, I came back to France in Christmas 18, and the sixth and simil day, sorry, was in July, so 6 months after. And
okay.
during that time, I was training full time already.
With the goal to win this thing or to
Not at all. I planned that into 2019. I had a big season. So I raced first in Madeira, which is an island in Europe.
Mhm.
Then I ran the Bob Graham Round, which is in England, which is more a challenge. It's not a competition. And then I had in mind a Simil Day just to prepare UTMB and La Diagonale des Fous, which is in October, which is a big running race as well. But this
Mhm.
was only Simil Day preparation for a bigger race at the end of the season. And I was not thinking winning it because I was training already a lot. So I was not tapering for that race, especially.
Right.
So I just went there and having in mind just do what you can and the weather was very bad and it was in altitude, so I was kind of used to it and I won.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did it hit you, like during that race that you're like, I might win this thing?
Yeah, it was maybe a two-third of the race. So that race, Simil Day, is like 3,000 meters climbing,
Wow.
and then you hit the summit. It was on a glacier, about 3,500 meters above sea level. And after it's just a long downhill, like about 3,000 again, over 20 Ks, so or 25 Ks, yeah. So when I passed at the summit, I was maybe 6 or 7.
Mhm.
I was not feeling good. I had too much Ks in the legs already that week.
Right.
Uh, but downhill is my stuff. I like going downhill,
Me
and
too.
yeah, it's much better. Uh, it's way easier, and yeah, maybe about 20 Ks before the finish, I was taking the lead, and I was not ready to to leave it.
Cool. And this race is obviously pretty high profile in France and Europe,
Yeah.
and kind
Mm.
of, would you say that was the race that got Arc'teryx's attention, or was it like one of those pivotal kind of moments in terms of building your profile or your running career, or?
I don't think it gave the Arcteryx the attention, but definitely my name was in all the newspapers and
Mhm.
people on the running market got to know me at that time. But I think the Bob Graham round I did in England. Well, I was with my friend. We were the two first French runners to complete the round in less than 24 hours. And at that time, I think it just did a big boom in the trail running market. And after I won the Similde, which was again, oh, again, Martin is still here. So, well, okay. And my discussion at that time with Arc'teryx has started already. So yeah, I think it made a difference. Especially I had big plans for the future. So yeah, that was a
What
great start.
what were those plans?
That was to run UTMB and Diagonal des Fous the same year, which are maybe the two biggest race in ultra trail running in the world. And only several people did it, and that was very challenging. I mean, a lot of people told me, "Oh, that's a lot to race in such a small time. Take care, your recovery will be very important. You might fail." So I was okay. I hear what you tell me, but I just want to do my own experience and see how I can recover and how I can race. And yeah, UTMB, I was very tired, to be honest. I did not
Mm.
race as I wanted. I finished 12th and the third French guy. But that's an amazing result. I mean, considering I was nobody in 2018 and 2019, I was like in the top 20 of the
Oh yeah,
biggest race in the world. So
for
that was an
sure.
amazing performance, but I was not feeling good. So I was very, very motivated for the Diagonal des Fous, which is in Réunion Island, and I finished fifth. So that was the best race I ever had, and despite the fatigue or yeah, all the kilometers and the months I spent in 2019 outside, I had the best race ever. So that was a
Wow.
very, very good season.
And sorry, you have to remind me how long
Yeah.
these races are. Like how many kilometers are we looking at?
So Simil days, 60 Ks with 3,000 and a half, I think,
Main.
yeah, meters elevation. UTMB is 170 Ks with 10,000 vertical meters. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, and Diagonal des Fous is about the same. It's 170, but the winner of UTMB is about 20 hours, and Diagonal des Fous is about 24 hours. So it's way more technical.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it is in Africa, so in an island close to Africa in the south. So it's the temperature are very different from what we can find here.
Right. Um, okay, I have so many questions. With regard to like, yeah, your mental process in these races, like the lack of sleep. I mean, if you're getting it done under 24 hours, which I think is why you're an elite runner, like anyone that's doing it, that's taking over 24 hours, they get into that space where they're like, I haven't slept and I'm hallucinating and I can't form words or think. Like, what's like, I mean, we'll talk about the physical toughness, but what's the mental toughness? How did that come to be? What drew you to these distances? And then how do you stay with it during them?
Yeah, I think it's very hard to explain. I mean, I'm super attracted about spending my time in the mountains. It's just my way to move and discover the landscape, the views. It can be a country if it is a long race, or and even meet the people. So this is why I like spending my time outside, just pushing the body. You just discover yourself all the time.
Mhm.
I hear it's a big challenge. It's not easy all the time. You can be super bad, super low, and have big highs as well, and being super fast at some point, rather than 20 minutes before you were like super low. So it's super exciting, and I don't understand everything I do, but I like to do it. I mean, I like the challenges and it's a super way to discover myself and the others and different countries.
So in terms of ultra running versus like, yeah, 10K or sprints or
Mm.
that style racing, it really did come from, loving them, being in the mountains and moving through the mountains and being drawn to that. And the running was sort of a by that, or is it that you love the running and the distances just kept getting longer and longer?
No, weirdly, I don't really like running. It's weird, but I enjoy the sensation, the feeling about moving fast,
Mm-hmm.
but running for running, like running a road marathon doesn't excite me that much.
Mm.
But I like to perform, so I will give it a go one day. But today I just run because I can move faster in the mountains, and being fit is just like a challenge between the mountains and the body. Having said this, the mountains will always be stronger than us, but it's just fascinating the way how fast you can climb the mountains and how fast you can go down. It's and improve all the time. The time is like kind of exciting for me. So yeah, great motivation just to move fast and as well be with friends and
Mm.
get to know the same feeling when you're at the top of the mountains. You just push the body. You have like a lot of good vibes, and you can yeah. It's very hard to describe, but this is the way I feel it is quite contagious. I mean, you can talk to people with who you are running. You can feel different things, but it's all give the same smile. I mean, it's a very amazing sport just to have good sensations and feelings.
Mm-hmm. It's the runner's high, but like
Yeah,
on
yeah,
times by 170 kilometers
yeah.
and lack of oxygen.
Yeah, for me the ultra distance is way more than 10Ks. I like to run 10Ks.
Mm.
If you run full on, I mean you will be smashed as well. But in the ultra distance, you have the mind, which is as well coming, like how you resist to the pain,
Mm.
and because your muscle are very sore, you are just broken, but your mind will take the lead and just set up some new objectives and just get to push you to get moving and to keep moving. Sorry, and it's just fascinating how strong is the mind and what it helps you to accomplish. Mm.
What is the craziest pain you've ever had? Like, what is the.
That's an awful question. I mean the I think the feet. If your feet are broken, I mean, your nails can be damaged by the shock on your shoe. So one
Oh
day
my
I had
God.
like all my toes were, I didn't have any nails anymore in the toes. So the pain was quite intense. And this is not stopping you, but it's painful.
So all of your
So,
nails fell off of your toes and you kept
yeah,
running.
yeah.
Oh my God.
And I had
This,
blood everywhere, but yeah.
what's that? Sorry?
Yeah, it was at the beginning when now I have some tips to prepare my feet, and I got some shoes more adapted now to my more to my feet.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, at the beginning I didn't know how to prepare the feet, and definitely like with less running habits, my feet were not prepared, and all the downhills were very painful.
Oh
So
my
yeah, it
God.
was a sad time.
But you managed to talk yourself out of the pain, or how does the mind, I don't
Yeah,
know, I've never been in that kind of pain and kept going through it. So I'm like, what happens? What does your mind do?
yeah, it's only nails. I mean, it will grow up again. So I was like, oh, just yeah, it was painful, but not to stop me enough before the end of the race. I was like only 15Ks to go, maybe over 120 at that time.
Wow.
So so I was just no way. This is for my that was my first long run as well. So no way only my nails will stop me. So I was I'd rather die.
How do you prepare yourself for something like that? You know, like you say, preparing your feet or preparing your body, like I'm going to go, I'm going to suffer. I know that's inevitable and I'm not going to give up. And that's like, what's your process around training and preparing your body and staying strong and fit and eating and all this kind of stuff? I'm sure people would love to know. I would love to know how you turn yourself into a performance machine that can withstand this kind of pain.
Yeah, it's a long process, to be honest.
Right.
I don't know anybody that runs 100 miler without having any issues. So I learned a lot from the others, like my friends who were already experienced in that. So I got some tips I used, and but I still discover every long runs. I discover new pains, or I just try to adapt my body to the pains. Yeah, I think in that sport, in the trail running community, there's like a big exchange as well, which is super cool because we don't like to suffer, and we experience any type of tips to make sure we're not suffering too much, or I mean, as we can have some stuff to make it easier.
Mm. What are the most common pains that would come up for people? Feet pain, I guess. Back, I'd imagine. Hips.
I mean, the pains can be the feet. Definitely, this is the first one. After it will be stomach pain. After
Oh,
what you eat, yeah, what you eat will. This can stop you because if you are like dehydrated, or if you didn't eat properly, you have
right.
like some very bad situation. So it's super important just to keep the nutrition structured, and you can keep the fluids and the nutrients going into your body, so you can just keep running. um, it can be heat, how you cool down when it's super
Mm,
hot outside. So just to use there are plenty of techniques, but or you train with like a big jacket during summer, or you just
right.
try to cool down with some ice cubes into a buff. There's different methods. My one maybe is how to manage your pace during the whole race, because for example at UTMB you start like at 18 or 20 k's an hour, so which is super fast. But
That's really
this
fast.
lasts, yeah, this lasts about 8 k's before. But if it is 8 k's, you still have 160 k's then to run.
Do you run that pace in the beginning because that's what the leader pack is running? And so you have to stick with them and then,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You run that
wow.
fast because it's flat, a little bit downhill,
Yeah.
but it's flattish. But it's super fast because this is the biggest race in the world, so everybody wants to show
Right.
up in front of the cameras, and but everybody is running super fast. So at 8 k's after the start, I was already like, "Ah, I'm not sure I did the right strategy. Maybe I should have run like
Right.
2 k's slower." But afterwards, yeah, you just adapt. It's all the time trying to adapt your pace again. Try to eat more maybe because you produced a bigger effort. It's all the time trying to understand what you did, try to think positively, and just keep moving forward. But sometimes it's super hard when you're super low, super bad, and you have big pains everywhere. Your muscles are destroyed, but you still have to go because you signed up for the challenge. So you're all the time trying to try to test new things. Actually,
Yeah,
this
you're
is
like recalculating almost, like
yeah.
constantly recalculating.
Exactly. So it's super exciting. I mean, motivating in a way. So you always, every new race, you don't know how much you're going to suffer and how much you're going to enjoy, because you know you're going to try stuff. So you need to find the solutions and the best solutions for you. And my solutions might not work for somebody else. So it's very hard. The other day, one of the biggest trail runner in the world, François Daen, just did he showed on Facebook and gave some nutrition tips. And what I really enjoyed was he just explained that what works for him doesn't work for everybody,
Mm,
and what he explained for him doesn't work for me. For example, for hydration, for the fluids. So it's super important to not replicate exactly what people say, but just to test during training and racing, and that's how you become the best.
yeah, it does sound, I mean, what I'm kind of gathering from what you're saying is that it's hard for you to say to me, okay, Katie, you're going to go out and run 100 miler and your hips are going to start to go. And so you're to fix your hips, and then your head's going to start to bug you, and then you're going to do this to fix your head, and then at 80 miles this is going to happen, you have to eat this. It's like I would just have to go out and run 100
Mm.
miles, well, not off the couch, but like train and run and start adding. And it's like it's almost like a process of self-discovery and what really is, catering to yourself and learning about yourself before you go out. And the only way to learn is kind of by doing. It sounds, is
Exactly.
that right?
Exactly. You have to practice a lot, spend a lot of hours. Like I do spend about 30 hours a week outside just
Right.
to understand my body. I think I know my body now quite well. So I know what works for me, but there is still plenty of stuff I didn't try. So this is always learning curve. What I like in the outdoor sport.
From a normie, which I self-identify as a normal person, to an elite runner, what does it feel like to have that kind of body? Like what are your strong things that you can always count on? You're like, I know this thing about my legs will always carry, like what are the things in your body that you can always trust that will perform for you?
Yeah, it depends on during what time. Yeah, it depends really the time. When you're racing, you can only race maybe 2 or 3 times a year because your body needs to recover. So right now, I'm getting ready for a race. So
Okay.
I'm trying a lot of things and I'm training a lot. So I know my legs will carry me a lot during the race. I can count on them, despite they are tired. I mean, despite this is painful, still the muscle will be sore. I know that they will handle the vert and the distance. I know I will be ready as well mentally. I will be ready to suffer. I will be ready to push when the body hurts, just to make the difference. But yeah, I'm working towards that event, just to be ready during that 20 hours. Afterwards, it's just like a shutdown. The body will just recover during maybe 3 weeks or a month, and just during that time, I don't count on my body and my legs are just destroyed. The hormones are not, the body is completely broken, and there's like a recovery phase which is very long, and the sleep is not good anymore. You don't eat, or you eat too much, or you want to drink. Like it's very hard to, after a big effort, a big challenge, you have you are very tired, so you need to recover it. But you have as well like excess. So in my way, I really want to eat junk food, party, what I don't do when I'm training. So in a way, this is depending on when you want to race. I know I'm going to be ready, but afterwards or during winter, when the motivation or the challenge is not here, I will be just relaxed.
Okay, I'm really curious to hear more about the recovery process, because it's like, yeah, I mean, putting yourself through 170 kilometers or 120 kilometers and what that does to your blood sugar and your hormones and your
Mm.
bones and your joints and your muscles. And then, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about the breakdown of the body, like what actually is happening there, and then how you do recover from that, like how you train
Yeah,
yourself to be able to bounce back almost?
yeah, exactly. This is the dark side of the of the
Right.
ultra
I'm
trail
so
running.
curious. I'm like, wow, what's the dark side?
Yeah, the dark side is very interesting because so after the race, after 100 miles, maybe 20 24 hours for me, you just are super happy. So your mind is stoked, and from what you achieved, um, and there's like a sort of excitation. So you won't find the sleep, but you are super
Oh,
tired. Your muscle are super sore, so you won't be able to sleep either because it's too painful. Uh,
wow.
but you're still super tired. So maybe your sleep, you will, if you want to sleep. So during the night, sometimes I just wake up, but I will sleep during the day. So all your cycles, your sleep cycles are different, and you have to listen to your body because you have to recover. So when you have to sleep, even if it's noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to go to sleep. If you want to eat more than usually, I just allow me to eat more. I usually take some more kgs. So after a race, maybe if I'm now at 73 kgs, I can go up to 77 or 78, like plus or minus or plus 5 kg, I would say.
Oh, like put weight back on?
Yeah, I just put way back on,
Yeah.
just eating what I like, just like no restrictions. Um, and right now it's pretty easy because I'm full on that patient. But when I was working, it was super hard to be back at
Right.
work, just handle the stairs in the morning and every break. That was horrible because you can't really walk. So yeah, this is the really dark side. But you have a lot of cool images like in your head and in your mind. You're like you're super stoked. You have plenty of stories to talk about, and you don't really remember this painful part after the run, but only the beautiful pictures you've seen during the race and people you met. It's just like incredible new friends you get. So this is very hard to explain, but people I ran with during the races are now my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
some
so
of,
bonding.
yeah. So you really share some experience. It's like in alpine terrain when you're an alpinism, you just climb with friends, and it's similar in trail running. You don't especially know everybody, but after some kilometers and some nights, you just get to know more these people and you create friendship, which is really cool.
So the culture, I guess, in the leader pack, I mean, how I imagine it's like up there, you guys are like actually like really competitive and fierce and like, but it's not really the case. It's very sort of,
Uh,
there's a camaraderie and you're looking after each other, or what's it like? What's it like up there?
there's a bit everything, but I'm kind of the newbie still. I
Okay.
mean, don't some of the elites don't know me because I've been racing lots in Australia and New Zealand, but less in Europe, especially with the pandemic situation.
Right.
But what I can see, people, I mean, the elite pack is welcoming super well. I mean, they are interested, so they're going to come and talk to me, and they share experiences, talk to them. It's more like a big family, more than competitive. But if there is only one winner, I can tell you that everybody is going to give its best to be the first. So it's a friendship, but as well at some point, if there is only one winner, you have to push your body.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it reminds me of we were on the Freeride World Tour last year,
Mm.
making a film, and it reminds me of the culture there. Like everyone's best friends and a big family, and then the scores come out and it's like silence. Just like, and then they get the scores and they're like, okay, I got third, you got first. Okay. And then it's like they're, congratulating each other and they're back to being best friends and partying and carrying on.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same spirit. I mean, this is not really a competitive. Despite you run solo, it's like a team sport. I would say you're in the
Right.
same adventure.
Cool. And so what's this race going for now? You're headed to Italy for training?
Yeah,
Is the race in Italy?
yeah. The race is in Italy, and this is a short race. It's 37 k's with
Okay.
2,000 meters vert. This is a Golden Trail Series Italy, which is In trail running, you have different championships. You have the Ultra Trail World Tour, which is what I'm more into because it's long distance. But you have as well Sky Running, Golden Trail Series, and every time it's like linked to the distance and elevation, and the level is very high in every challenges. And that one it's just to with this COVID situation, I just want to run. And in France, it's very hard as well to run these days. The government doesn't help the organization to have races, but it should change in June. But in Italy, this is open already, so that's why I'm going there.
Okay, cool.
So
And
yeah,
so do you try to train where the races are typically? Like maybe not in Reunion Island,
yes.
you're not down there training, but do you try to
I wish I
go?
could.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Trying to create the heat in Grenoble with a puffy jacket doesn't sound quite as
Yeah.
fun, but you're headed to Italy to train so that you're prepared to run there. Is that
Exactly. So
okay?
it's way better to know the terrain and the
Mm,
temperature, the conditions before you race. So it's really big race I run. I try to know the terrain before. Um, Maybe if it is a long race, it's 100 or 200 k's, let's say. I won't do the I won't recognize the terrain, or
mm.
so I do in one way, but it might be 4 or 5 days, and that's what I did in for UTMB. I did the round in 4 days instead of one push, and just allows you to know the terrain beforehand.
Okay. Wait, so sorry, you've run 200 kilometers before?
Yes, I did twice.
That's so far.
Yeah,
Oh my God. No wonder
yeah,
your
it's
body
a
gets
long run.
absolutely wrecked. Like,
Yeah, it's a long run.
what? Oh my
Yeah, I did
gosh.
the Australian Alps Traverse from Mount Buller to Bright. It's 200. Yeah, it's 200 k's with 12,000 meters vertical in the bush, and that was hectic because it was raining. And when the storm just was there when we were running after a very sunny, super hot. So that one was about 30 hours. And last summer, with two friends, we ran Chamonix to Briançon in the French Alps, which is 200
Wow.
k's again, and that was like a team run. We were three, and we established a new record, about 32 hours something. So yeah, that was super cool. I like running long distances, to be honest. So
Yeah, wow.
37 k's will be in Italy will be really challenging for me. I will be like pushing the body to the limits really.
Because you're keeping the speed up so
Yeah,
high,
yeah,
right?
so high, very intense. Yeah, an intense run. Like the intensity will be incredible.
Right.
Rather than when you run 200 k's, it's just like a slow run for hours.
Right. Your brain is like almost got a little bit more space to do that calculation versus when you're just like, don't think, go faster.
Exactly. This is way more challenging for me. I'm not used to that really, um, to the fast runs, but I tend to like it more and more.
And you're preparing for that how? Like you go out for shorter runs, you go fast. What's the process?
So yeah, the process is a bit different. Different. I like to mix the sports, so I do a lot of cycling, skiing during winter, running, paragliding, and and specifically for short distances, I like to do interval training sessions.
Okay.
I do about 2 or 3 a week over my 7 days, so over 10 trainings. I would say I do three of intensive session, and I like to push the body to the limits. And this is really challenging for me because I like to say I'm a slow runner, but I like to train hard in these sessions just to see that I'm improving, I'm progressing, I'm getting faster,
Mhm.
and I can play with the best as well in that distance. So it's super motivating for the future as well. because I can play as well. So this is good.
Totally. So backing up, this like cross training almost, do you ski and cycle and do this kind of stuff in the same kind of like with the mentality that you're out for a training at ski or a training site, or is it like more enjoyable, or it's just more of a hobby or an activity, or how do you approach
Yeah,
these parts of your life?
my approach is a bit different. You're right, because running there is this performance way kind of spirit. While when I go skiing, I like to ski mountaineering as well, because I push the body, but it's more like to race. So I like that performance side. But when I go skiing in the mountains, in the glaciers, it's more like steep skiing sessions, and there's the performance side of it, but it's not pushing the body. It's getting that line done, and enjoy the few turns, and with the friends. So there's no or less performance in that kind of way. And paragliding is the same. I like to do big flight, but I don't do like infinity or tricks. And I just fly. I just enjoy being in the air. So I just take the time to fly more and more during my recovery time. Cycling, this is a bit different, because cycling you can push, get faster on the hills. So I get more cycling into my training with strength interval sessions, and it's important for me. Like cycling goes more with running, and paragliding and skiing is more like to enjoy the time outside.
So there's a little bit of balance with like high performance approach to sports and more leisure activity. I mean, your leisure is probably way different than my leisure, but
Yeah, that's
a little
that's
bit of
what
balance.
people. Yeah, that's what people tells me. Like 2 days ago, I was at home in Van Nuys, and I was telling my friend, "Oh, do you want to join? I'm just going for hike and flies. It's nice weather, no wind, so let's get up." And it tells you, "Oh, okay, how many rotations do you want to do?" Because I go up and down with a single layer paraglider. It's 1 kg in the back, so it's
Oh wow.
super light, and you can just like repeat rotations. And I did 4, which is about 3,000 meters vert, and they were like, "Is that really a leisure, or do you train at the same time?" It's like, this today was a bit of training though, but like low intensity training.
Right, you're just sandbagging your friends. You're like, no, it's just really chill for me, and they're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, I like to see them suffering.
Yeah, you'd fit right in Revelstoke. There'd be lots of friends for you here to go out and just
Yeah, I would
suffer.
love. Yeah, yeah, I would love being in Revelstoke some days.
But okay, so on the more personal side of things, you have a baby on the way with your
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So how's this is going to change? Like you were talking earlier about, if you need to sleep at 2, you got to sleep at 2. Like, well, if the baby's up and maybe you're not sleeping at 2, like what's the what's the
Yeah,
plan?
it's going to be my biggest challenge ever. To be honest, yeah, I will give everything to change my way of life. I will not change my training. I mean, yes, I will adapt my training for sure, but
Mhm.
I'm sure with a bit of organization, it's going to be okay. And my girlfriend is as well elite runner, so we have to handle our both organization with the baby. So it's going to be hard to fit everything, but I'm sure we're going to find some times still to enjoy to be outside. Yeah, let's
Oh
hope.
yeah, totally. to a degree with this stuff, you're physically built for it. Like you just kind of are born into having a runner's body or not in some ways. Like, would you agree? Like, I'm like, your kid is going to be a runner as well. Like she, he or she, they're going to be a young age trying to keep up with mom and dad. Um,
Yeah,
you
for
you
sure.
as a child, you did a lot of it. Like your parents were super adventurous, and
Mm.
so you're born into it too. That's correct, right?
Yeah, that's correct. My parents were climbers,
Okay.
and yeah, they love being outside in Marseille in the Calanque. It's a big climbing area, and when I was a baby, I was sleeping at the base of the cliffs. So while they were climbing, so afterwards, yeah, I was all the time with them in the backpack, and I guess yeah, it's going to be quite the same. I mean, try to live outside just from the young age is one of the best education I could give, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Mm.
Um, so if we were in, Chamonix right now at the Academy, and you had an audience, listening to tips from
Mhm.
Martin, like what would kind of be the major, suggestions or words of encouragement or tips for people who are trying to take their running to the next level, or maybe make the leap themselves into taking, quitting their office job and becoming a pro runner? Or what would you would
Yeah,
impart?
well, I would probably recommend to find a little challenge every time. I mean, if you live in Paris, it might not be super easy to train for trail running,
Mm.
but you can find some stairs or a nice round about around the neighborhood, um, and just keep challenging yourself. Keep the pleasure in your training. It's super important. So this is for me the top priority is keep the pleasure, get some challenges done, and keep progressing. Keep the push the bar up, and so you can push your body and keep motivated. So that would be the first objective. And maybe the second recommendation would be maybe don't think too big. We all do mistakes when we start a new patient, so you want to do more and more and more super fast. And so in running, the body need to adapt. So at the beginning, some people can have some pain in the muscle or in the joints, and have some tendinitis, like
Tendinitis.
inflammations,
Yeah.
tendinitis. Yeah, inflammations. So it's super easy to get injured in running. The impacts are pretty hard for the body. So just keep the volume low, and but get to push, get the intensity as well. So it's find the right balance in your
Yeah.
training.
Not too much
But
too soon.
yeah, don't burn the steps. Don't yeah,
Don't
don't
skip
doesn't.
steps. Don't skip steps.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
it. So when I started, the first year, I was telling me like, okay, this year you run about 6 or 7 20Ks, and at the end of the year you try 40Ks. But I didn't change my training. So when I ran the 20Ks, that was okay, that was good. But when I ran the 40Ks, it was like double distance, but training the same way. My body was not prepared, and I got injured my knees, um, and where one my left knee, I still have some pain sometimes. Was completely destroyed, and I had to stop for 3 months, and that was too much. And so the year after, I had in mind to run a 70Ks, but during training I was more and more I was putting more and more Ks, and the body got used to it somehow. So now I touch wood saying that I'm not injured anymore, but I do take care of my body, going to the physio, to going to the chiro, but just make sure um, to not get injured more with the impacts we have while running. So this is the second tips. Sorry, I'm a bit long with with
No,
my
that's great. I'm
recommendation.
like, keep them coming. This is awesome.
And the third one is linked to the pleasure as well. I mean, if you like what you're doing, just share it with your community and friends, and get more people around, and just show people how exciting it is to be outside and push the body, and share experience, because you will learn from the others. You will give some tips as well, and this is a really cool. Communication and exchange you can have with people, and that's, in my opinion, how I grow and how my patient grow as well. Is like sharing with my experience with the people, and that's what I like doing the academies too. A lot of people are asking you, how do you do this, how do you do this, and I do ask sometimes, and you, how do you handle this as well? So I'm interested. So so get the passion through the different people you have around is very cool as well. And the last one would be, don't stop your life as well. I mean, if you have children, if you have friends, don't stop seeing them because you have to train outside. It's just a balance way the best way to keep a patient last is to have a balance life, and it's not a reason just to train hard for a long race. There's no reason to stop seeing your friends. If you have a party, if you have a restaurant dinner planned, just do not be that guy who stops seeing his friends because he has to train for a big challenge. I mean, I've seen lots of people, they thought they were good runners and they stopped seeing family or friends because the next morning they had a lot of training to do. And these people are now on their side and not really social. So I think it's a bit sad. So just keep the activity and your passion as a way to be balanced, but not full on mode.
No, I totally hear what you're saying. It's like, you lose. I mean, I've heard of people who train for the Ironman, for example, and all they
Yeah.
do is talk about training and think about training and start
Mm.
hanging out with people that train, and it becomes obsessive, and it becomes,
Yeah.
so overwhelming and all consuming. And then when it's over, you're like, now what? You've lost a lot of that balance and those things that brought you joy before. And you're sort of like, it's almost like you tip the scales too hard in one area of your life and then belly up over here. And so when you try to bring them back or course correct a little bit, you've too much emphasis on one area of your life. So I think that's an awesome flag, and it's an awesome tip and thing to think of, even if you're running at an elite level like yourself, to still maintain that sense of balance and
Mm.
and the importance of yeah,
Of
not
social.
isolating
Yeah.
yourself and
Mm.
staying social. Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah, it's super, super important, that part.
It like keeps you sane.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we had a conversation, or I had a conversation with Nina Caprez
Yeah.
as well on the podcast, and she told a story about when she was training for the nose in Yosemite, and
Mm.
she did that. She went totally too far in her words in training, and it took her a really long time to
To
recover
get back.
and
Yeah.
balance back after
Mm.
objective. And
Mm.
so it's an interesting point that I think we can get so focused and caught up in our
Mm.
goals sometimes that we forget about
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's super easy as well to forget about life because you're so focused on your challenge and your objective, and but there is nothing better than share the stories with people you like and you love. So be balanced is the best way to keep the feet in the ground on the ground.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Martin. I'm really excited to hear how this race in Italy goes, the 37 kilometers, and
Yeah.
you'll have to keep us posted on how that unfolds.
Yeah, thank you, Katie.
That was Martin Kern, who you can find on Instagram at Martin Kern. I'm following along with his training and runs closely, a little out of jealousy for what it must feel like to be able to run like he can, but mostly out of admiration.